Alright my friends, same illustration type as before, so we get straight on with it. S's equity table, year end, acquisition, post acquisition. You can get this quick in the exam as well, it's okay using these abbreviations. Share capital and retained earnings, take it straight from the question. 100, 1700, presume share capital was the same at acquisition, then get the acquisition reserves, which were 440, then get your calculator out if you need to work out the post acquisition then is that 1260. Okay, and then you think, right, if I added those two together, that will get me the book value of S's equity and S's net assets, where the fair value is 570. So I need to make a 30 adjustment. I need to know what that 30 is for. PPE, so I need to depreciate that 30 over 6 years. 30 over 6 equals 5 per annum. I acquired it 4 years ago, so there'd have been 4 years worth of depreciation. There would have been 20 depreciation so far, leaving me with 10 PPE, which I must go and put up, otherwise it will never balance. Put it into S's PPE. Add that down then, 1240. I'm doing this very quickly, so I hope it all works. Then we go on then to doing goodwill, which is always at acquisition. Their fair value of consideration, proportionate NCI, which is the only NCI we've done so far. Take off the fair value of net assets acquired, which is the same as the fair value of equity, which is 570. We paid for it 600 for our 90% share. We paid 600, which means the other 10% was from the NCI. 10% of the 570 here is 57 then. If that's 57, then I reckon goodwill must be 87 at acquisition, less any impairment of 10. Remember, when we worked out the proportionate NCI here, we just gave them the proportion of the net assets. We didn't give them a proportion of goodwill, so none of that impairment will go to the NCI. It will all go to group. So, NCI then, let me just put the 77 in to start off my group accounts. Goodwill, 77. Now I can do my NCI. I take the figure at acquisition, I add on post-acquisition, I take off any impairment if there was any, but there's not because this is proportionate goodwill and they never get any goodwill impaired for that, so we take that off. We don't take it off of me. So 57 comes straight from there. Post-acquisition, I want 10% of this figure here. So 10% of 1240 is 1254. I can add that together. I think that comes to 181. I hope it does. So NCI is 181 and I can go put that into equity. My final working then is retained earnings. I want all of H, so let's go see how much H is. 4,700, perfect. And then I don't want all of S, I just want my share, which is 10%. No, it's not, it's 90% of course. My share is 90%. Since I bought it, it's what I deserve. So 90% of 1240. I am going to need my calculator here. 1240 times by 0.9 comes to 1116. Less any impairment. I'm doing proportionate goodwill, so all impairment is mine. So that is 10. So get my calculator out then. So take off the 10, add on the 4,700, and I get 5,806. And I get the 5,806 and I go put it to my retained earnings. Share capital, 100. Other net assets, just add them across. So what's that? 6,010. So that's 6,087, I hope. And then I hope this all works out. So 100 plus 181. That comes to 6,087 as well. I've done it right.